Are you tired of buying self-help books and reading them, or actually just buying them and feel like you've accomplished something and setting them down? Or have you been in therapy and talked to a therapist endlessly, finding them thrilled with your stories and accounts about your life, and your suffering is not getting any better? I can identify with that. I have complex PTSD. You may have been diagnosed with that condition, and that's fine. It's not about the diagnosis, but it's just recognizing these places that we encounter in life where we are looking deeper within ourselves. Maybe you're just curious about your life. And I found myself drawn to religious and deeply mystical works, and also just taking some turns in life that were uncommon, led me down unusual channels in life. So I went off the beaten path. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit of the work of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky here, because I found their work helpful to me in some ways. It didn't become like my only go-to, but it did help me when I was trying to sort things out and put my life back in order after trauma had hit and I'd been shocked and twisted a little bit. But these works of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky can be challenging and twisted reads. So I'm Mark Roach, and I'm here to offer a different perspective in what you can get out of your life. Here's a modern, sophisticated rewrite of In Search of the Miraculous, Chapter 12. By the summer of 1916, our gatherings had evolved into more dynamic and profound sessions. Gurdjieff primarily resided in St. Petersburg and occasionally traveled to Moscow, often accompanied by a few of his Moscow disciples. By then, our meetings had shed their formal veneer and had grown closer, forming a cohesive group driven by shared enthusiasm for the novel concepts and the promise of self-discovery they offered. Despite minor disagreements, we were united in our quest for knowledge. Our assembly comprised about 30 individuals, meeting almost nightly. When Gurdjieff returned from Moscow, he often organized countryside excursions and picnics featuring Shashik, a stark contrast to the urban backdrop of St. Petersburg. One memorable trip to Ostrovsky along the Neva River led me to understand Gurdjieff's perspective behind these seemingly aimless outings. They were observational opportunities where our true selves emerged, unmasked by the formality of the city meetings. Our interactions with Gurdjieff's Moscow students became more insightful over time. Initially, my questions about their self-work and their systems understanding seemed naive. I realized that these inquiries required experiential learning rather than straightforward answers. The process was akin to an apprenticeship with a medieval master, where learning was mutual amongst peers as much as from the teacher himself. Newcomers joined only during larger gatherings with Gurdjieff, while our core groups met separately, allowing us to delve deeper into understanding Gurdjieff's teachings without the overconfidence that often accompanies new learners. Gurdjieff pointed out that we each possess a repertoire of roles suited for different life situations. However, when placed in unfamiliar circumstances, we revert to our authentic selves momentarily. Recognizing these roles is crucial for self-awareness, as they are limited and often confine us within comfort zones. To genuinely observe oneself, one must embrace discomfort and vulnerability of stepping outside these roles. The work required us to challenge our comfort and strive for self-awareness, even if it meant disrupting our peace. This path demanded obedience and submission to guidance beyond self-imposed challenges. Gurdjieff's teachings emphasized that understanding one's chief fault was pivotal for personal struggle and growth. He tasked us with spreading the system's ideas responsibly, ensuring that we discerned who could genuinely benefit from them. Our attempts to discuss these ideas with friends often met with skepticism or ridicule, revealing a disconnect between our newfound insights and their perceptions. This experience highlighted the transformative yet isolating nature of our journey. In exploring types and personalities, Gurdjieff encourages us to study ourselves deeply before attempting to understand others. This introspection was essential for recognizing fundamental human types beyond superficial interactions. Ultimately, Gurdjieff's teachings were about transcending ordinary existence through self-discovery and discipline, requiring us to abandon preconceived notions and embrace a path of continuous learning and adaptation. This work of Ouspensky and Gurdjieff was instrumental to me in developing and rekindling my faith, discovering my true beliefs, restoring confidence in my fellow man, getting direction in my life. It handed me an appreciation of the twist that was sorted out experiential to me in my childhood, experienced as trauma at that point, which ultimately ended up into spawning a very interesting life that followed. I'm Mark Roach. All the best.